Okay, I'll record the session and I'll share my screen and I'll upload it into my Gmail and give you an access. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Thanks,
Okay.
with you.
And it is only a viewable access.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And here you can see that I'm going to create a new file and
Viewable
that's
in the sense I cannot download to my
you
system.
cannot download. You can view it online.
Even after a year or couple of years, also I can view it online.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
So
fine.
here you can see that I'm going to have a new file created and that's going to be a CSS. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Here I'll call it as since it's in CSS, I'll just say it as index css.html. So the
Okay.
few things that we have to start practicing from the beginning is a coding standards. You must
Mm-hmm.
always say that you are actually giving a proper naming convention, be it a file name or a variable name or anywhere, you have to give a proper naming convention.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
Uh,
let me,
when we say about the naming convention, for example, if I want to give like input registration,
mm.
so the input word I should be lowercase and registration should be R uppercase, right? That's the
No,
name.
the file name does not have any consideration, and some places, I mean, it is based on the project, and depending upon the project, they'll change the conventions because in some projects they'll use all, I mean, title cases they'll use, and uh, in some places they will be using, as you are saying, that's called as a camel casing, but
Mm-hmm.
uh, in some cases they will use like only a initial capital, others all is a small one.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Okay, here the first thing is like we are coming into the now we saw the world of compiling, like when we go, I mean the HTML compilation. So if you
Mm-hmm.
see here, what is happening here is you can you, as you rightly said, we are able to see some of the informations on the forms, but we are not able to see it properly aligned or any beautification on the screen. So
Yes.
when we want such kind of an beautifications or any kind of an feel good page to be built, we have to always rely on CSS, and that's
Mm-hmm.
called as a cascading style sheet.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, and here you can see that what we should do is there are three different types of styles available. One is inline style. The next one is an internal style, and third one is external style sheet. So with these styles, what we are going to do is, I mean, these are all a different way where places where we are going to write a styles. But always it's preferable and it is most recommended to use an external style sheet. And it is called a style sheet, in fact. So you should never use an inline style. I'll tell you why you shouldn't use it also. But you can remember these are the three different categories of styles that is available. So,
Okay.
so the first and foremost thing is I'll be using some kind of a semantics HTML also here. What is a
Mm-hmm.
semantic HTML is your semantic HTML means that you will be, I mean, it is a self-descriptive tags. Like unlike your div tag doesn't tell. Like if you are placing an header, you will just place it as div, and then inside that you will put some content, or you will make this to an full width, and this width is based on this width is 100%, and you will make the background color to be blue violet.
Mm-hmm.
And when you come here and refresh, you will not be able to see because there is no height of the there is no content inside the div. So here I'll make this as 10 pixel, and when you come here, refresh and see, it should come, but no, I am actually executing a wrong file.
Copy that.
Okay, there is an S here, which is not going to showcase anything. So now you can see that there is a bar that is going to come here, which makes us feel, I mean, makes it look like a header. Okay, and you
Mm-hmm.
can see this bar is visible. But unless until you go to an output, you never know this is actually an header. you have made this div for an header purpose, heading
Okay.
purpose. So
Okay.
here what happens is, with the help of semantic elements, you will be able to segregate each and every section of your code with that self-descriptive tag. So for that purpose only, we use the semantic elements. And here you can semantic elements. Table is also considered to be one of the semantic element because it's self-explanatory. And header, I'm going to use an header here, and there is also a nav tag which I'm going to use it for showcasing my menu bar. So here inside my menu bar, what I'll do is I'll showcase all my items in a list format. When it is in a list format, what I'll do is I'll be using an UL and LI. So the first and foremost thing is I'll be having an home, and the next one I'll have is about, and the third one I'll be having is contact, and fourth one is service. So now when I go ahead and see here, you can see that it is actually coming in this way. So when I say that, I mean, when I say that it should not be in a bulletin format, it should be in a sidewise. When it has to be in a sidewise, what I will do is I'll just go ahead and define a style space. I'll go ahead and mention a style is equal to, first and foremost thing that we have to mention is there is something called list style type. When
Okay.
what does this list style type means is, here you can see that it comes in a black dot because it's an unordered list, and I want to make it into a circle, and it is going to work for me in a circle format. But right now, since this is my menu bar, I don't want any kind of a styles to be applying for this list style type. So what
Okay.
I'll do is I'll just go ahead and make the list style type to be none. When I make this list style type none, so your bullets will go away.
Oh, that's
Okay.
mandatory, right? If you don't want a bullet, we need to make it as none.
List
Oh,
style type none.
okay.
Okay. And the next one is, if you see what I am going to do is, I'll be giving an option that's called as I want to make it to bring next to each other. So when I want to make it bring next to each other, I'll be just going ahead and doing an inspect element. I want to see what is occupying a full length of my screen. So when I view my UL, and my UL is also occupying a full length of the screen, which is a block level element. And my LI is also considered to be a block level element, and which is occupying a complete width of my screen. So in this scenario, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and mention the style of my list called as display float left. So the property of display float, float left. So the property of float left, what it will do is it is going to make it is going to make it look occupy only the space that is relevant for us, and provide other space for the next element to be loaded. So now you can see that your float left is just occupying only a 39.11 by 18 height. And but you can see your about is still occupying the full width. So
Full
for it
width,
to
yes.
occupy a little less width, so what I'll do is I'll go ahead and mention a style, and float is to be left. And you can see that it is now going to come here. But what happens is, you can see that I have to mention this property over and over again for all. In case if I mention 100 list, for all the 100 list, I have to mention this.
Yeah.
This is very tedious for us to mention. So basically, the style tag, whatever you are writing, this is called as an inline styles. It is applicable only for this line, and it is not, you cannot apply the same style for the different lines. And the reusability is not there for the inline styles. And the next thing is, you will not, I mean, in case if you want to reuse also, you have to copy and paste it. So in which, when you are when you are making a change, it will automatically, I mean, you cannot, you have to make sure that you're modifying in all the places. If you're changing in one place.
One
So
place, yes.
these kind of drawbacks are there. So what we will do is we'll go ahead and create some code which can be reused everywhere. So that is when I go ahead and declare a style tag inside my head. So yesterday I said you we have many more things that can be defined inside the head tag. One such thing is we can mention in style tag. So inside the style tag, what I'm going to define is I'm going to define an element level design. So what is an element level designers? I know this li is my element in predefined element in my html, and that li I'm defining here, and with after opening and closing of the curly brackets I'm going to mention my properties, css properties in this area. So when I mention like this, what will happen is it will automatically apply for all the elements which is called as li. Now when I refresh, you can see that it is applied for all the elements.
Okay.
Okay, so the reusability is achieved with the help of an internal style sheet within the file. Okay, in this file, whatever the changes you want to make, you can make it. And again, for the width, what you can do is you can define a width for each and every element to be 100 pixel. So when you make it 100 pixel, you can see that there is enough room for every text.
Got it.
Okay, and when you want to make this particular element to be coming on to the left side of the screen, so what you will do is actually if you make float left, instead of float right, let's make float left. What happens and see. So you can see that it is actually coming in reverse order, because first your first element is occupied. First time, when it is rendering, what happens is the first element is aligned with right. So it comes to the extreme right. And the next time it is going to the about and setting it to right. So which means that already some kind of a element is occupied here. So it is setting it from the 100% minus 100 pixel width. So which
Got it.
means that 100% minus 100 pixel width is starting from this area, and it is occupying the whole 100% width. So that is the reason it is coming in reverse order. So which
Got it.
means that mentioning a left is bad idea in for li. But whereas when you want to move the complete ul to the left hand side, yes, that is possible, which means that the complete set you want to move, the complete set moving happens with the help of a ul element tag. So here I'm going to mention as float right. When I mention float right, you can see that your elements are coming here in a left hand side ordered.
Got it.
Okay. And here what I have to do is I have to mention, I don't want to mention my div. Rather, I want to mention all my styles defined for my navigation bar. Like now, right now, the way that it is going to look like in the navigation bar, the same way, actually, how the background color is coming now with the help of div, the same way I wanted it to bring it under a nav tab. So which means that for the nav tag, I have to give the background color. So before talking about the color schemes, we have something called as color palette. In the color palette, what happens is you can color palette is like there are many websites that talks about color palette. You can take anything that is very flexible for you. So when you go to any website about the color palette, here what you can, the list of combinations that is suggested by this website, and that feels that these combinations, if you make use of these combinations, that would really feel good. And also this combination will be very good to use it in your website. So say for an example, here you can see that if I go with this shade of what this color named, I'm very poor in naming the color. So this is blue shades. If you see in this blue shades, what will happen, you will be having, you want to bring a blue themed website. So when you want to bring a blue, you just go ahead and mention as blue and see how does it look like. So I'll just go mention a navigation bar style, and I'll just give the background color as blue. And here I would say, because let's see if it's showcasing us the background color. It will not say show because we have to increase the height and width. See, the cost of changing the code, saving it and coming here and refreshing is takes lots of time. So to avoid that, what we will do is, to increase the efficiency, what we will do is we'll go right click here and do an inspect element. And when we do an inspect element, we can see the code, and let me directly focus for the navigation bar. And you can see that here the height of the navigation bar is 0, because of which you are not able to see the background color that we have set. So which means I'll go ahead and set the height of my navigation bar to 50 pixels. So now you can see there is a background color that's occupied.
Got it.
Okay. But is this blue really pleasing to your eyes?
No, I cannot see anything.
No, actually it is very appealing and it is also looking very dark to our eyes, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that is the
yeah.
reason we go ahead here and we choose any one color palette which we like and we go ahead and design our page as per that color scheme. So
Mm,
which means if you want to use multicolors in your website, you repeatedly use any of these combinations of the colors. So that time your page will look more good. See, the one more thing is when you make change on the inspect element, I clicked here and I made a change. When you make a
mm.
change on the inspect element and if you refresh your page, it will go away. So to
Yes.
avoid that, what you have to do is you have to come here and make a modification actually for whatever the changes you have made from inspect element. So
Yeah.
now I go here and refresh it and you can see that there is a color that is coming up. Now
Okay.
this looks okay for me. Okay, and it is universally understood that whenever you are using a dark background, it is always good you mention a white font. The
Mm,
font color should be white.
mm.
So I go here for the list. I want the font color to be #FFF. So by default, if you mention 3, if it is coming to be white, I mean it is going to be white, and you can see the font color more clearly now. Okay, and
One one second, Vidya. Sorry to interrupt. When you selected the color from the website,
hmm,
you selected a particular color code, right?
yes,
Yeah.
I click
If
here
I
and
want to use the entire family of that color code,
yes,
like all the color.
you can use it. That's what I'm going to tell now.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you can see, I have used this for my background, I mean header. And
Mm,
for my footer also, I will use a different color. Let me come
mm,
to a footer. But
mm,
if you want to use the family of these colors, so what you
mm,
can do is for an hyperlink, you can give this color. But with talking from the navigation aspect, you can't give this color because this is all having a similar shade. But if you
mm,
say this is having a controversial
mm, mm,
shades. So when I
mm,
say that, what will happen is like, say for an example, I'm copying this code
mm,
as
mm,
my navigation bar.
mm, mm,
Now what I can do is when I go and hover over my any of the item, so I
mm.
can make my hovering ability of the button to be. So you can see that now it is giving in a different color. So here
Ah,
you can make your color to be #000. Zero is the starting point, which will be black. So this is like, if you can see this combination, actually it is not working out. You have to choose a good palette. When you choose a good palette, you can play around with those colors. And when you are hovering on it, you can show as this color. Or even from this palette, you can show something which is, there are two shades, I believe. No, you can even show this shade, which is going to be more lighter. So which is also going to be like, which is going along with your page very well.
yeah, I did not ask this one, Vidya.
Oh.
So I'm thinking is you every time you copy that color code.
Mm.
Instead that we need to refer that URL in our code so that when we type like #00, it should bring up all the color palette for this family.
No, that is not actually possible.
Oh, okay.
Even if it is possible, what is the issue is, the first and foremost thing is, you know what, I have developed a website. And
Mm,
when I have developed a website, there is something called as Font Awesome. I'll talk to you about this also, which will help us get all the logos, like how they
mm,
are using here. You can see there is a search icon, there is a
mm,
news icon, there is a
mm,
images
mm,
icon. So if you
mm,
want to use these kind of icons in our website, we have to
mm.
go with any kind of a plugin like Font Awesome or Bootstrap itself. It has a glyph icon. So if we
Okay.
go ahead with that icon, usually what we do is that we use the CDN link of this. What is a
Mm,
CDN link is? It's cloud distributed something. It's an
mm,
abbreviation. So when
mm,
we go with this link, what happens is you will be when I have launched my website on the server, the
mm.
first and foremost thing happened was none of the icons are visible for me. It Everything comes as a box which says that the icon is supposed to load and it is not loading.
Mm.
And why is that happening is because my cross origin script, which means that I am running my website on the URL of www.xyz.com. But I am trying to access the URL of Font Awesome CDN, that is called as Font Awesome cdnjs.com, and it is a Font Awesome one. It is linking to, okay, cdnjs.com/library/Font Awesome. So when it has to communicate from this particular IP address to that IP address, it is not allowed usually, because if we allow that, it is in security issues. Okay, and that is one issue, and that is the reason why in the modern days everyone will download the entire library package into their project, and they will start referencing from their local. And in case of Quantasm is getting upgraded, and we'll also have to upgrade our downloaded version of a Quantasm, and then we can reuse it, and we have to redeploy the code to the server. So these kind of discrepancies and these kind of restrictions are there. So you cannot use any URL directly just like that into your website. It will block you while deploying the code to the server.
Okay.
Okay, so you can just take that as a reference. You cannot actually take the complete palette page and use it into your screen.
Okay.
Yeah. So any other doubts?
No.
So the meeting is going to end in less than 1 minute. So do you want to log in for a next session?
I think we can end today for this point.
Okay.